What a weekend, huh? Another series win against the Colorado Rockies. And you know what? We're ready to talk about it all day long. Yes, we've recorded our podcast, New York Mets Baseball Way of Life, for today, and we'll go over the big series win. You really do want to check it out. We have great audio clips from Buck Showalter, Taiwan Walker, and Louis Gourmet talking about the big win. And how about Taiwan Walker? What a masterpiece. How often are shutouts thrown in Colorado? Well, Taiwan pitched 7 beautiful innings yesterday, and Guillorme looked like the human vacuum cleaner at third base with 2 fantastic plays. And Buck Showalter gives commentary on everything, and we get some insight from Taiwan on how he pitches at Mile High Stadium. You'll want to check that out. What else do you want to check out on the podcast? Well, how about David Peterson and Tom Sabuki coming up and pitching in the next 3 days for the Mets in San Francisco? Fresh arms. I'm a big fan of Zabuki. He has a live arm. Injuries have curtailed his progress, but he has stuff. And I am so excited to see him pitch Wednesday. If that is the case, it looks like it's going to be. What else is happening? We talk about the big Mike Piazza trade in detail. Just for you, we recapture everything. What an historic moment it was for the Mets and what it meant to the Met organization as they basically turned everything around after that trade. They were no longer the laughing stock in baseball anymore, if they were in the early 90s. It changed the whole outlook of how the Mets were perceived in baseball. We didn't win the World Series. We got to the World Series in 2000. Piazza basically had his 3 best years, his first 3 years there, but he meant a lot to the franchise, and he is the face of the franchise for a certain generation of Met fans. Just as you basically could say Tom Seaver was for a generation, Keith, Gary, Darryl, and Doc were for another generation, David Wright for another one. And who knows, this generation of kids growing up, maybe Pete Alonso, Francisco, and Jacob deGrom are theirs. But we'll talk about that big trade for the Mets. And we'll talk about that big trade that the Mets made to get Jimmy Pearsall. He of the 100th home run, running around the bases backwards. Crazy, isn't it? And who did the Mets give up to get Jimmy Pearsall? Well, it was Gil Hodges. And the reason why the Senators wanted him was to become their manager. So you want to check that out. Once again, it's the podcast, New York Mets Baseball Way of Life. Be sure to tune in. Check us out. And what else is happening? We talk about Chris Bassitt. They locked him in. Things are a little bit different under Uncle Steve. Yes, he is locked in for the 2022 season with a great option year for next year. And we talk about that option year and the contract in the podcast. So much going on. So much going on. You'll want to check it out. Again, we have our trivia and Jeopardy question of the day. We have, what else do we have? Oh, we got transactions, birthdays, all the good stuff. And what's going on in the group as always. And the baseball group is New York Mets Baseball Way of Life on Facebook. So you want to check that out too. That's it for today. I don't know if you guys are staying up late, but we're going to be here tomorrow to talk about the Met Giant game tonight. Should be a dandy. So check it out. Tomorrow we'll be back, same bad time, same bad channel, and with another great Met podcast for you in store. So check out the podcast today, New York Mets Baseball Way of Life. You'll be glad you did. Have a great day. It's a beautiful day out there, a little bit cooler, which is nice. And let's go Mets.